to transfer. All day long he used to guard this money, but his own salary was barely $8 per hour. However, how long could he keep suffocating his dreams under the heavy blanket of honesty? One day, tired of this honest life, David thought of doing something wrong. This is the interesting story of the 1997 Loomis Fargo bank heist, in which an ordinary man forced the FBI to launch an international manhunt. And this story later became the foundation of the 2016 Hollywood film Masterminds. Surprisingly, David Gant himself acted in the movie made on his own story, and unfortunately, he didn't even get paid for it. Welcome once again to Histro TV videos. Viewers, David Gant was a retired Gulf War soldier. He had served his country, and now he was working as a vault supervisor at an armored car company named Loomis Fargo. Meaning, cash in his hands, empty pockets, and the burden of family responsibilities on his shoulders. He worked 75 to 80 hours a week, but in return he earned only $8.50 per hour. David Gant was tired of his routine. Loneliness and the frustration of not doing something big were eating him up from the inside. These were the conditions that created a strange restlessness in David's heart. And finally, he began to get wrong thoughts. And just when dishonesty entered David's heart, the devil opened a new path in front of him. And that path's name was Kelly Campbell. Kelly also worked at Loomis Fargo. She was a bold, sharp, and mysterious girl. During her job at Loomis Fargo, she somehow became friends with David, and they often met even after office hours. Their friendship grew so deep that even after Kelly quit her job, the two continued to meet. One day, Kelly introduced David to her friend, Steve Chambers. Steve was a small-time criminal who always dreamt of making quick money. When Steve learned that David was a vault supervisor at Loomis Fargo, a mischievous idea was born in his mind, the idea to steal money. But to make this idea successful, it was necessary for David to join them. Then both of them began trying to convince David. David Gant, whose intentions were already shaky, found Steve Chambers' idea like giving a push to a falling wall. At first, David got scared because he had never done anything wrong before in his life. But Steve's style persuaded him to slip. Steve showed David dreams of a luxurious and comfortable life. David's frustration, Kelly's support, and Steve's greed together brought David to a point from where turning back was very difficult. Then began the planning of this master plan. Now, since Steve himself was a small-time criminal, Kelly had no experience, and David, well, no comments. Their plan was something that could make a professional thief laugh. The plan was quite simple. On the night of October 4, 1997, after his duty, David would stay in the vault, turn off the security cameras, steal their cassette, load the money into the company van, and run away. The plan was that after the theft, David would immediately take $50,000 and escape to Mexico. This amount was chosen because at that time, it was the maximum allowed to cross the American border. The rest of the stolen money would stay with Steve Chambers, and once the case cooled down, David would return and they would distribute the money equally. But there was one problem, a major flaw in the plan. If David took such a huge risk and escaped to Mexico with $50,000, why would Steve later share the remaining stolen money with him? But the blindfold of greed had already blinded David. He never thought about it. And then the night finally arrived. On October 4, 1997, around 6 p.m., David sent his trainee staff home. Now he was alone and responsible for the vault. Nervously, David went inside the vault and, as planned, disabled 2 of the security cameras and also took the cassette that contained all the recordings. But by mistake, he forgot to turn off the 3rd camera, which was hidden in one corner of the vault. That 3rd camera recorded all the scenes of the Loomis Fargo robbery for the next several hours. Completely unaware of this, David started picking up cash from the vault. But here was another problem. This time he wasn't picking up the cash to count and transport it, but to empty the entire vault all by himself. Most of the cash was in $20 bills. According to one estimate, there were over 800,000 notes, or more than 8,000 bundles. To load so many bundles into the van alone would take a lot of time. For the next 2 hours, he kept filling the van with cash. After loading around $17.3 million, he didn't even realize that he had just carried out the second largest heist in American history. After loading all the cash into the van, he danced with joy, and his dance was also recorded by the third camera. The next morning, when other Loomis Fargo employees arrived and tried to open the vault, the keys were missing. The police was called because only David Gant was absent from the office. Therefore, he became the prime suspect from the very beginning. When the security camera footage was reviewed, all doubt turned into certainty. And finally, David's dance added insult to injury. In the footage, it was seen that during the robbery, David was repeatedly messaging someone on his pager. This proved that he was definitely not alone in this act. Now the police began searching for David Gant and his accomplices. After searching the entire city for 2 days, FBI agents found the cash van parked in a forest. Inside the van was around $3 million in cash, left behind probably because it was too heavy and time was short. The van also contained both CCTV cassettes. Now David and his partners had around $14 million in cash. Most of these were $20 bills which were not marked, meaning if anyone spent them, they couldn't be traced. As per the plan, David had already escaped to Mexico with $50,000. He reached a luxury beach resort and began living there. The police and FBI published advertisements in newspapers offering a $500,000 reward for any information related to the robbery. They appealed to the public to report anyone who suddenly came into a lot of money. Because of this campaign, the police started receiving many calls daily. They had to set up a separate desk for the Loomis Fargo robbery. Most calls were just people trying their luck, but one call changed everything. A man told police that his neighbor suddenly had a lot of money. This neighbor was none other than Steve Chambers, the mastermind of the entire plan. The FBI secretly began monitoring him and discovered that Steve and his wife Michelle had bought a big expensive house, a new BMW, and were spending a lot on luxury items. When the FBI checked their bank accounts, they found that after October 4th, they had suddenly deposited a lot of money. Their suspicion grew stronger when a bank teller said the deposits were made in $20 bills. Michelle, who came to deposit the money, even asked how much she could deposit without being reported to the Fed. Now the FBI was certain that Steve Chambers and his wife Michelle were among David's partners. But they stayed silent, hoping to find the other accomplices, especially David. Only 10 days into the investigation, everything became clear. To dig deeper, the FBI began tapping Steve Chambers' phone. During one recorded call between Steve and a man named Mike McKinney, the mention of David Gant's name alerted the FBI. The two were actually conspiring to kill David. Steve Chambers had gone crazy after seeing so much money. As the plan had a flaw, he now wanted to have David killed in Mexico and keep all the money for himself. The FBI arrested Mike McKinney, who immediately confessed everything. He revealed that David was in Mexico and explained that after stealing the cash from Loomis Fargo, they took the van to the parking lot of Reynolds and Printers Press, where they transferred the money to another vehicle. Surprisingly, Steve himself worked at that printing press. He didn't even think to take the van somewhere unknown to transfer the money. Since they had very little time, too much cash, and a totally flawed plan, they left $3 million in the van and parked it in the nearby woods. They didn't even bother to take it far away. Those woods were right next to Steve's office, just a few kilometers from the Loomis Fargo warehouse. So within just 10 days, the police and FBI had identified the entire group. But they waited another 5 months, gathering solid evidence. Then on March 1, 1998, David Gant was arrested in Mexico. The next day, Steve Chambers, his wife Michelle, and Kelly Campbell were arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina. The FBI recovered 88% of the stolen money, while the rest had been spent by Steve Chambers on luxury items. Steve Chambers was sentenced to 11 years and David Gant to 7 years. He was also billed for the missing $3 million which he had actually never spent. In 2016, a film titled Masterminds was made based on this story. The producers hired David Gant as a consultant, but he wasn't paid anything, because by law, any money he earned would be used to repay his debts. At that time, David Gant worked as a construction laborer and said, "Even if I work my whole life, I can't repay this debt." Even today, David Gant lives in Jacksonville, Florida, with his wife and children, working as a construction worker to make a living. He maintains a presence on social media where he continues to help people learn lessons from his mistakes. We hope you will also like and share this Histro TV video. Thank you very much for your kind comments. See you in the next amazing video.